Now we are joined by the wonderful, the creative, the beautiful Alejandra. Alejandra, your abortion story and activism are intertwined with your immigration story. Isn't that right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, being an immigrant person, being a part of a mixed status family has informed my activism and has informed how I advocate for myself and my human rights and my women's rights.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell your story for us.
So I'm here to share my story basically because we're at a time where women are under attack at all levels. I mean, the hate for women, if I want to be honest, like I feel it. I feel it from the administration. I feel it from people sometimes in the community, sometimes even in the pro-choice movement, right? I feel it because I'm not scared to make decisions about my life. And I also realize that I'm in a state of police, right? I'm in a state that has a lot of state violence, and people have been criminalized and targeted, and I've been criminalized and targeted. So for me, making decisions about my future have a lot to do with how I feel as far as being safe. And I don't feel safe. We know it, we see it on TV, right? There's no protection for undocumented people. Even me, that I'm a daughter of citizens, the immigration system is broken and it has failed me, and it's trying to separate my family. And they're proactively, trying to separate us and by deportation. So I think for me, when I think about becoming pregnant and deciding to create a family and start a family, I can't do that when I don't have systems of support, when I don't have any health, when people all over don't have health coverage, right? We don't have any dignity and justice in any of our systems. So for me, asking me why I don't want to have a baby, it's bigger than me, right? This is globally. People are being oppressed globally. And I can't protect myself from the police, and I sure won't be able to protect, a baby if I decide to be pregnant. I feel like I've been forced to make that decision, right? Even if I did want to start a family, I can't, because I can barely protect myself. I have a deportation case, and these things don't go away. When you get criminalized and you're in the system, in the criminal injustice system, you're there forever. It's really difficult to get out of the hands of the police and the state. So that's why I'm sharing my story too, as a form of resistance, as a form of letting other people know that you're not alone, that a lot of us, it might even be 1 in 3 people get criminalized, even more, right. So I think I want to have the conversation of safety before people want to just ask me why I'll have another abortion if that's the case.
Right. So what connections do you see between yourself and the Jane Doe cases?
Well, first, I just want to share that I've been in a detention center, so I feel for the Janes in there. It is no place to parent, or to create life. It's places that are for profit and that are using people's bodies to just make money, and it's a place where there's no health care, where undocumented people come asking for help from their other countries, and we just see them as criminals, and we tell them to drink water there. So how if I were to be pregnant, I could just compare myself to Jane being back there, because that can happen, right? That's a realistic thing for me here. The deportation machine is here and it's waiting to swallow me back up again, right? And when I see myself being forced to carry a baby in those cold walls, those ice coolers, because if y'all don't know, right, like people who spend time in detention centers they sleep in very, very cold spaces. They call them ice boxes, right? We get like 7,000 calories of food, but it's all food that doesn't fill you up. It's not nutritious. There's no special food for pregnant women. They might tell you that, but I worked in the kitchen, right? I worked for $1. There's no life. You can't create life in there. And for people to want to force you, for politicians to get in between of that, that's abuse. That's abuse of power. And Jane Doe and Jane, all our Janes, all our homies have rights. We have human rights, and they need to be respected.
Do you want to share about one of your experiences with abortion?
Yeah, the most recent one for me was just last March, so almost a year ago. I was faced with that decision again. I was also in a relationship with somebody who wasn't worth me even thinking about that as well, right? But for a second, actually, I was like, I would want to have a baby. I would want to be a mom. And then reality just kicked in. And I knew that I wasn't safe, that I didn't know what was going to happen to me. Like I said, I mentioned, I still have a case happening. I don't know what's going to be. I mean, I don't know if immigration, customs enforcement, and Department of Homeland Security is going to come and get me. Anything can change, you know. The laws are ramping up. The administration is being more hostile and is going rogue. People, even activists, advocates, human advocates, are not even able to exercise their First Amendment, right? Because they're being policed and because they're being targeted. And they know that if they break us, they try to break the movement that way. So, yeah, I think it's just super important that we resist and that we're smart, right? Because we know they're doing what they can to violate our rights, right? To like literally kidnap us. So it's really tough for me. It's a lot of stress. Not to talk about the trauma. Like I'm not a good, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I'm not in a good state to have a baby. They need to understand that, right? And even women who get pregnant, there's no respect for women who get pregnant. They're being criminalized at all levels. Their privacy is being stepped on, basically, right? People are getting drug tested when there is no health care, no drug treatment for women, and Latinas and Black women are being violated at all ages. So even when you do decide to have a baby, you're at risk to being incarcerated. So I don't know, it's really difficult. It's really difficult, and I think people just need to be able to see outside of just why a woman is telling you, I don't want to have a baby. Understand that there's systems, it's systematic, and it's bigger than us, right? Like, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Alejandra.